are there times whereby you feel a little bit moody, but you can't quite pinpoint what's wrong, right? You feel moody, but just don't feel 100%, but I don't know why. In fact, there's a new terminology that we use today to describe this. It's called feeling blah. Feeling blah is a feeling of physical uneasiness, general discomfort, or mild depression. So something like this, I don't know what's wrong, but I'm just not 100% today. It could be a weekday, it could be a weekend, and before we know it, the weekend is gone and we have just wasted a weekend. This has got a lot to do with our self-talk. So the definition of a self-talk is the act or practice of talking to oneself, either aloud or silently, right? So some people, like my dad, he has a lot of self-talk and he really talks. I can hear him talking. So in order to appreciate this better, let's reflect a time where you are in the middle of something very important and you have underestimated the time needed to finish. So what happens? Well, let's look at Alice. She is in the midst of preparing for tomorrow's big meeting. She was interrupted with the scheduled meeting with her boss. So she went into the meeting with a laptop and then she was trying to multitask. Her self-talk goes, okay, I can really use this 90 minutes to complete this assignment. And then she found out, oh, what if I cannot finish? I have to bring this home. And then, oh my gosh, I recall the last time I made a mistake because I was sending it out late, I wasn't concentrating, and I looked so stupid. All right, so the emotions escalated. Okay, your negative self-talk actually has got a lot to do with your anxiety. So what is anxiety? It is distress or uneasiness, of the mind caused by the fear of something, fear of danger or misfortune. Your negative self-talk is contributing to your anxiety. If it is mild, you may be feeling just blah. If it is a higher degree of anxiety, maybe closer to a panic mode, that will really drains your energy, affects your concentration, and then clouds your judgment. And many people just suppress anxieties, not knowing that by doing that, we are actually paying more with our health. So instead of suppressing anxiety, we want to confront it. Let's continue our discussion on internal self-talk. So who actually is talking? And the research shows that the content of your voice comes from the people around you. Okay, the content comes from the conversation that you had before with your parents. It could be your boss, your co-worker, anything and everything that you have read or learned. So all these things becomes your self-talk. And when there is a negative trigger, your self-talk goes on and it could escalate to a very high level. The good news is that we can do something about it. Okay, here are 5 steps that we can address negative self-talk. Instead of being afraid of them or ignoring them or suppressing them, we would like to recognize them, okay, increase our self-awareness, and take the moment to see it in action. Okay, watch like a movie, how did the self-talk got triggered? What was the conversation? What was the emotion? What words did you use? What was the reaction, the result? And more importantly, observe the trigger. What caused all this? Write it down somewhere, think about it so that you are in a better position to turn it around. So saying it is very easy. Here's a tip on how you can record it better. So I highly suggest that we all keep a self-talk journal. And every single time the self-talk, negative self-talk arises, put it up, write it down, and that will help us turn things around. Okay, it's going to be very helpful. So how can we turn things around? Maybe I can give you an example. So sometimes early in the morning, right, I hear commotions. So in the past, I will jump out from the bed, run into my parents' room, and then before I knew it, right, I am taking sides with my mom because she is a dementia patient. So I tend to take side, and then by taking side, I didn't help with the situation. So what I learned from my personal journaling is that I get to appreciate my dad a lot better. So being a primary caregiver, really not easy. My dad actually took care of my mom, from going to the toilet, taking a shower, getting the food ready for her. So it is really not easy, and he is burnt out. With the capture of my emotions, I was able to empathize a lot better with my dad. So nowadays, when I hear commotions in my parents' room, take a deep breath, put on a big smile, and then go into the room with a lot more positive energy. And with that, I was able to help, my parents with the situation. Okay, so this is one way that how the journal has helped me understand my self-talk and put myself in a better position to handle situations better. So talking about turning things positive, so a few tips for us. This is one of the toughest time, in the century that we are all experiencing. But the good news is that tough time never lasts, but tough people do. Just breathe and calm down. Take a step back, breathe and calm down. So when we do all this, right, we will be able to have new perspective and turn around the situation. So now, what's most important is, what do we do from here? So this is just a start. What you do the next 1 or 2 weeks in terms of recording your internal self-talk, you will be able to have a different set of conversation and be the effective self that you have always wanted.